Y'all, come look at this real quick. I'm moving my family to Tanzania.
So crime is a serious problem in Tanzania. Street crime in Dar es Salaam is common and includes mugging, bag snatching, vehicle theft, smash and grab attacks on vehicles, armed robbery, burglary.
Hello good people, I believe wherever you are doing great. This is Victor from AfriPost, and I came across this video and it was forwarded to me by one of my friends who told me that there is this video about African Americans moving to Tanzania that has been trending and people have talked about it largely. What's your opinion about it? What do you really think about it? An African American had visited Tanzania, and therefore he said that the experience that he had in Tanzania was kind of good for him. So he decided to go and move with his family to Tanzania fully. So I want us to watch the video about him appreciating the things he saw in Tanzania and when he made that decision to move him and his family to Tanzania and relocate and live there. And then the reaction that this white person made about this video that he made. And then again, the final reaction that African Americans and African immigrants in United States had towards this video. Yes, watch the video and then let's talk about it after it.
Y'all not gonna believe this, but in less than a week, I'm moving my family to Tanzania. A lot of people who've been telling us to have been asking us, why Africa? Why Tanzania? What's over there? Why are you doing this? So we got to visit at the beginning of the year. We were there for about 5 weeks, and within that time, we already had fell in love. The culture is amazing. The people are so kind. The people are so welcoming. There's such an amazing sense of community, the natural beauty. Y'all need to check out the Indian Ocean. It is incredible. The food is bomb. And even more deep is the fact that everybody there looks like me. Everybody there looks like my kids and like my family. And that is so powerful to not have to contend with white supremacy in that same way, or fear based off of the things that are happening in the States, to be able to have that sense of just peace and be able to breathe and move slowly. Cost of living is better, which can make it so I don't have to work so much and I can spend more time with my family. Definitely get updates about our transition to Tanzania, and of course you're going to be getting that regular education about racial equity. Y'all, come look at this real quick. I'm moving my family to Tanzania.
So crime is a serious problem in Tanzania. Street crime in Dar es Salaam is common and includes mugging, bag snatching, vehicle theft, smash and grab attacks on vehicles, armed robbery, burglary.
So white supremacy is a whole trip. It is a whole trip. I made this video just showing my enthusiasm for moving abroad to Tanzania, and we are here. Gotta give y'all this little preview. It's just a little preview. It's paradise. But meanwhile, this random guy sees my video where I show enthusiasm for coming to Africa and show some of the differences about being here versus USA. And he can't help but just go on this rant, this very rant, characterizing Africa and Tanzania as just this dangerous, violent, horrible place. And what's interesting is there are no sources given, and what's more is that the comments are turned off, so there's not even a chance to respond or reply or engage with the content, so I just block the person. General tip, be very careful who you listen to when it comes to people of color or black people or nations or whatever the case is, and pay attention to who the source is of this information. I was here for 5 weeks before, and I've met many Americans who are here and have been here for months and years, and they're having a wonderful, amazing time. It's an interesting tactic of white supremacy to use fear, or characterizing as if crime only happens here, as if none of the things listed happen in the USA as well, as a means of, I don't know, I guess telling me that I shouldn't be here, that it's not beautiful and amazing as a black descendant of slaves to be back in the motherland. I don't know what this person's intention was, but I just want to encourage y'all to always be mindful of the source. Black people, please travel if you're able to. Please come to Africa if you're able to.
Do you know what's funny about this video? Is that every single person I know who's also African has had this exact same experience. A while ago, I was having a conversation with somebody who did not look like me, who was trying to tell me about how dangerous and corrupted Nigeria was, and I just sat there and I listened and I laughed. And I laughed for a good 5 minutes straight, and I looked him straight in the face and I said, thank you so much for the misinformation that you consistently perpetuate when you're talking to other people who usually want a change of environment or to experience different cultures. Thank you so much. Now, let me sit down and educate you about the country in which I was born in, raised, culturally raised, visited multiple times, and has over 80% of my family in. And he looks me straight in the face and he was flabbergasted. Be careful who you get your information from, people.
Moving my family to Tanzania.
So crime is a serious problem in Tanzania.
My kind of video. First of all, United States of America cannot be talking as capital central of mass shootings. Okay, you have more shootings than you do days in the year. Okay, there are foods banned in other countries, but you feed it to Americans. Okay, no real food, no real water, no real air. Not only not no real air, we're gonna spray you with stuff so that you could get sick. And that's, man, don't get me started. Y'all need to stop listening to Western media about the motherland. You know what? And they need to show you all that bad stuff that, you know, they may pick some things and they'll never show you anything real positive, right? Because imagine if black folks decided to be like, yo, Africa is paradise, and y'all all left. Or the majority, you know what system would crumble? Do you know? Please stop talking about the motherland if you haven't been here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is paradise. Peaceful. And I've been here for 8 years. I choose no other continent but this one as being the best badass freaking continent to be at. And it looks expensive when you on that other side. It looks like it's an expensive situation. Yo, let me tell you, I'm here to tell you. It is not expensive at all. Motherland is Africa. Y'all just need to come check it out. Don't be listening to ignorance like that stitch that you just saw there. Ignorance, white supremacist. Yo, motherland is the shit. Peaceful, real food, real water. Like I said, I mean, this is the best decision I ever made, just like that gentleman moving to Tanzania. My homegirl from Jamaica moving here to Uganda. Best decision. Africa has everything, full of opportunities as well. And crime, come on now. Stealing purses, come on now. America, killing people. So like, measure the scale, please. Measure the scale. I choose here.
Now, listening to these comments that people are saying and listening to how that white person spoke, this quote came to my mind. There is this quote that goes that, until the lion knows how to write, every story of the jungle will be told by the hunter. And this is truly something that works for African setup. You know, most of us as Africans, our story has been told by the white person. If you look at the kind of education that we have, they made us abandon our original education and take up a new education that only deals with their culture and teaches us their language. But if you look at us as African people, one thing that happens is that we are not told to appreciate our story. We are not told to really write our story as it is. And that is why if you look at this white person, he is talking about Africa, or specifically Tanzania, being full of criminal activities, being full of carjackings, being full of deaths, and even diseases and poor lifestyle and everything. So if you look at the bad light that this white person is painting African continent with, you'd wonder where he's getting this from. And one thing that would surprise you is that possibly, sometimes maybe he has not even come to Africa. He's not even stepped to any African country, but he has a lot of negative energy directed towards the African continent. This is something that as African people, we must always be ready to speak about. We must really come out and say that we will tell our story as it is. Because until the lion knows how to write, the hunter, which is the white person, will always tell our story. Yet they do not know, they do not understand our story as it is. Some of them do not even understand any of our languages that we speak here in the continent. So looking at how this person is speaking, he is somebody that thinks that, let's say in United States, the things he's kind of describing that are there in Africa are not there. Look at Africa. How many times has there been deaths of white people killed because they are a minority in the continent? Very few. In fact, very, very few. In fact, I don't even remember any. In case there is any, there are deaths that are not preventable. But go to United States. The issue of racial discrimination and deaths that are racially aligned are many. People are being killed just because you're a black person. People are being incarcerated just because they are black. The criminal activities that are there are also many. Certain inner cities are in dilapidated situations. So you cannot come and generalize and put things in a manner in which somebody would not want to really be part of. I believe one thing that we must do as Africans, let us understand our story. And if you speak to any Tanzanian, they would tell you that the country is very peaceful. The country is welcoming. And I can tell you that having been someone from the East African part of the continent, one thing I'll tell you is that Tanzania is among the countries in the East African region with the lowest crime rates. Yes, Tanzania has some of the lowest crime rates. People there are very, very, very welcoming, and they are very ready to accept each and every other person. They are also very respectful, and there are very good things you can go and find there. If you are a tourist, there are things like the Serengeti. So let white people not come and be gatekeepers, or they want to prevent the black Americans from coming to the continent. You know, there is this thing that is now said that white people are finding it difficult to send Africans to Africa to do certain jobs because they think they will not be accepted or they will not be treated with respect, as it were. But that is not the case. In Africa, there is nobody who will mistreat you because you're black, because all of us here are black. And therefore, what is it that we will have against a black person? In fact, I would tell you that if I meet a black person outside in the streets, and maybe you're an African American, you've not spoken to me, I've not spoken to you, there is no possibility that I will know where you are from, because you are just like the other person that I'm seeing there. Maybe I've just not met you. Maybe you're just somebody doing his errands here and there. So we must accept that as Africans, let's embrace togetherness and let's learn to tell our story ourselves. Because as we have seen from that video, until we learn to tell our story to the world, people will always misrepresent our facts. People will always come out and say negative and bad things about us. So I believe in that quote that we must learn how to tell our story. And this also goes to African Americans who have not read or understood the story of Africa. You have been fed by the media and told the bad stories about Africa. You know, viewing the national news from the African seat, you'd find that, for instance, CNN, BBC, or even Al Jazeera will highlight kind of challenges that are being faced in Africa or in certain regions of Africa. But then if you look at the challenges that we face in United States, they are not as highlighted as they are. They are only highlighted in local content of the media to be consumed locally. But when you go to international, America is packaged in a beautiful way. So I believe that as Africans, it is also our responsibility to package Africa in a way that is very acceptable outside there. To African Americans who've not learned or have not really dug deep to understand the story of Africa as it is important not to generalize and stereotype things. Let's first of all understand, read, and really get the real truth about it. Because if we are fed by the information from the white person about our continent, we will misjudge each other. And that is why you'll find that some of the African people are even not happy when their neighbors visit their countries because of the differences that has been created between us. So let's embrace each other, and I believe everything will be okay. So if you're an African American, it is a festive season. I believe we are going on with our festivities. But if you are taking up that ticket and coming to Africa, please remember that Africa is not negative as it is portrayed by the white person or even by the media as it is. Africa is welcoming. Tanzania is happy to receive each and every other person coming to the country. And we say, Karibu, and let's meet in our next video. Thank you, and please remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and also share. May the good Lord bless you. Goodbye.